I've sent Feely and Keely ahead to look for shelter. Would you please give Beaufort a hand starting that fire?
Welcome back to the Hobbit walkthrough, everybody. This is Chapter 4, Overhill and Underhill.
These mountains are crawling with goblins. Why don't you go help Beaufort? Leave me alone. When we reach the Lonely Mountain, we'll use my grandfather's map and key to open a secret entrance. A door even the dragon doesn't know about. Beaufort had better get that fire going, or I'm going to freeze right out of my skin. Away, burglar.
The first objective is actually optional. Just go talk to Beaufort over by the 3 blue courage points.
Bomber is making me hungry. This wood is too wet to catch fire.
Perhaps you need dry firewood.
And if you could find any, I would be in your debt.
Whenever you're ready to move on, head down the mountain path and grab the training scroll.
Oh, hello, Bilbo. Feely and Keely went up the high path to look for shelter. I hope they find some food, too.
You have courage, little hobbit. You remind me of my boy, Gimli.
I'm keeping watch for stone giants. We heard some down the low path around that bend, so we sent Feely and Keely to scout out the high path instead.
I'll just look for firewood. If I see any giants, I'll come right back.
Next, walk up to the firewood.
Ah, firewood for Beaufort. Well, there's no going back. Oh, how will I ever get back to the dwarves? I suppose if I follow the edge of this mountain, I'll find my way to their trail.
First off, we have an optional encounter. Equip Sting and head into the clearing. When you're fighting these wolves, turn to the right and move backwards so you don't get surrounded. So long as you picked up the training scroll from earlier, you will be able to chain 2 sword attacks together by pressing the attack button twice in quick succession. Make sure you grab all of the courage points in the clearing. After that, you could just head to the next area, but that would mean you would miss out on a lot of extraneous items. You can reach a chest by climbing up these pillars and following the blue courage points. Now some chests poison you as a result of failure of the lockpick puzzle. How much damage the poison does depends on the chest itself. You can tell Bilbo is poisoned when his health bubbles turn green. This particular chest contained 25 silver pennies. Next, go back down the pillars, jump onto the vine, and jump into the cave behind the waterfall. For this nest of wereworms, I like to throw a rock at the first one, kill the second one at the nearest hole before it pops up, and then throw rocks at the other 2. With all the wereworms down, the chest on the right contains 5 silver pennies, and the chest on the left contains 20 silver pennies. With the cave out of the way, jump to the vine, climb to the very top, jump to the next vine, go across the platforms, and then grab the white courage point. White courage points are worth 50 courage points each. After you grab the white courage point, you can jump down. Next, jump to the low pillar that's sticking out of the water, and then long jump to the vine. Slide all the way down this vine to get to the green courage point, then jump to the next vine, and then jump off and grab the chest. This particular chest contains 45 silver pennies. Climb back up the vines and grab the red courage point on top of the pillar. Once you grab that, you should have The first extraneous item in this section is a red courage point on a ledge. You may want to unlock the camera and rotate it downwards so you can see the red courage point better. The key to unlock the camera on the PC version is caps lock. There's one more red courage point on a ledge down here. Then, long jump to the vine and grab the white courage point. Next, if you jump on top of this block, you can reach a red courage point and a chest containing 15 silver pennies. There's also a red courage point at the top of this vine, and then there are 2 red courage points on top of 2 more ledges. If you follow these ledges backwards, you will come across 2 green courage points and a chest containing 25 silver pennies. Next, climb up the vine with the blue courage points on it and continue following the mountain path. This next part can be a little tricky because of a wonky camera angle. Shimmy around this ledge, drop down, have Bilbo look at the next ledge, and then carefully drop down to it. Then, hug the mountainside and walk toward the camera until it becomes normal again. At this point, you should have...
Thorin, what have you done with my burglar?
Bulfa sent him to find firewood. If he's not back yet, then drat him, I say. He's not been very useful.
I brought him, and I don't bring things that are of no use.
I hope he's better at dodging boulders than he is at fetching firewood.
This is where the fun really starts.
Those stone giants are throwing boulders at me. I'd better hurry.
Grab the red courage point, and then grab the fire rocks. Next, head up the hill and throw a fire rock at each of the 2 wolves to kill them. With the wolves down, there are going to be 4 pods containing 25 silver pennies apiece. I just broke the first 2, and then the second 2 are in another niche down here. On some ledges, there are going to be 2 green courage points, then a red courage point, then a vine with a red courage point on it, and finally one more ledge with a green courage point on it. Be sure to stay on the move during all of this. If you get hit by a boulder, it will cause 2.5 units of health damage. The next 2 vines each have a red courage point at the top. Then, there's going to be one more ledge with a green courage point on it. That's all of the extraneous items for this section, so you can go ahead and move on. As we saw in the last chapter, don't loiter on the brown vines. They will break if you hang on for too long. After you grab the pink courage point on the ledge and the red courage point by the pillar, you should have...
This pillar looks weak. Perhaps I can trick those stone giants into making a bridge for me.
To get the pillar to fall, stand near it until a boulder comes down, and then move out of the way so you don't get hit by said boulder. Across the bridge is a new enemy type, the werewolf.
Thank you, stone giants! You made my escape for me!
Werewolves differ from regular wolves in a few ways. They have more health, they are faster, and if they see you but can't get to you, they will attack with a powerful magic spell like that of Gandalf's. Once both werewolves are dead, grab the fire rocks and head into the cave. You will face 6 regular wolves in the cave. Don't bother auto-targeting them, that will take too long. Just point the camera at each one and throw rocks. 1 fire rock will kill each wolf. There are 2 red courage points and 1 pink courage point that you can grab inside this cave once all the wolves are dead. As far as other extraneous items are concerned, there are 2 pods over here containing 25 silver pennies apiece. Then, be sure to grab the red courage point on the ledge and the pink courage point on the vine. Then, beneath the vine over here, there is one more pod with 25 silver pennies in it. This vine and the one close by it both have green courage points at the top, so be sure to grab those. Don't miss the pink courage point and the chest containing 10 silver pennies as well. There's a green courage point at the top of the ledge, and I already grabbed the red courage point at the base of the pillar. It's highly recommended, albeit optional, to have the stone giants knock over the small pillar for you, because a blue courage point becomes visible once the pillar is toppled. Be sure to long jump over this light-colored section, as it will break when you walk over it. At this point, you should have... Here, I do something a bit unconventional. I'm going to jump onto the vine here, slide down below, and kill the 10 frog people in these 2 rooms. You're actually supposed to take another route to this room. The reason I'm doing it this way is that there is a bug that can prevent 1 or more of the frog people from spawning. This would mean that I would not be able to kill them, and would therefore miss out on courage points, and would therefore miss out on a perfect score for the level. This bug could defeat the purpose of this video, in other words. So if you get to the end of this level and find yourself missing 3 or 6 or 9 courage points, this is probably why. I don't think this bug occurs on console platforms, but I can't be certain. Up here is a chest that contains a training scroll. If you fail the lockpick puzzle, the chest will poison you enough to kill you, so if that happens, you'll have to jump down to the left or retrace your steps back into the cave to grab mushrooms. Now I will jump down to the place where the wolves were, so as to go the intended route back to the rooms that initially had the frog people. I like to throw rocks at the 2 werewolves out here from inside the cave so as to not expose myself to the falling boulders. The second werewolf will typically be too far away to auto-target, so use manual targeting instead. Then, outside the cave, there's going to be 1 green courage point on the ground, 1 red courage point on a pillar, and 1 green courage point on a higher pillar. Once those are collected, the goal is to get a stone giant to throw a boulder at the cracked spot on the ground, but as you saw, that's happened already. Once that's done, you can drop down through the newly created hole.
That floor looks dangerously thin.
This is the place that originally had the frog people. There are 2 pods over here that contain 25 silver pennies apiece. Before you leave, drag and push this block over to the opposite wall. You can press the jump button to flip the block. Then, if you jump on top of the block and climb up the vine, you will find 3 small sacks of silver pennies. Out here, there are 2 more werewolves. Once you kill them both, you should have enough courage points to get another health upgrade, so long as you've been following along with this walkthrough from the beginning. Don't miss the pink courage point behind the rock. Unfortunately, you can't follow the mountain path anymore, so you'll have to head into the cave and take the long way.
It looks like it's missing some pieces.
Alright, our next objective is to find 5 gold pieces to fix the machine here. Before you head out, be sure to open the 2 chests in this room. They each contain 10 silver pennies. At this point, you should have... Down here, there are a lot more frog people. With the stick's jump attack now upgraded, you can take out a whole lot of them with a single jump attack, so long as they're within the area of effect. Grab the courage points here, and then grab your first gold piece, the gold shank head. Then, there are 2 pods that contain 25 silver pennies each. There are also 2 chests. The first chest contains 15 silver pennies. The second chest contains 20 silver pennies. With both chests and both pods collected, grab any mushrooms you might need and climb up the vine. The gold shank arm can be found in a little niche back here. Jump across the vines. When you get to the third one, jump onto the rock platform that's sticking out of the wall and climb up the rock platforms behind you to grab a pink courage point. Next, the medium gold gear can be found on the nearby platform that has the chest on it. The chest contains 25 silver pennies and a health potion. Next, follow the blue courage points up and around the area to the exit. Grab the small gold gear, and then break the 3 pods that contain 25 silver pennies apiece. After that, follow the blue courage points up and around to the next ledge. On the ledge, there's a chest containing 25 silver pennies. You will also find the large gold gear here, which is the last gold piece you need to find. At this point, you should have... Next, head back to the gold machine and put all the pieces inside. Each time you put a piece inside, you will have to interact with the machine and then select the piece.
Ah, there we go.
Then just head through the tunnel to the next area.
Oh, I don't like the look of this.
Owen said he last saw a Bilbo along the low path.
The old dwarf mines are down there.
The goblins drove the dwarves from those strongholds long ago. Now, all manner of vile creatures roam those halls.
You dwarves will find Mr. Baggins, or I'll go alone and leave you to get out of here as best you can.
For the first part of this section, just follow the blue courage points around the area. In this area, there are a couple of green courage points. Don't miss them. Before you go any farther, follow the rock pillars and the vines around to grab a pink courage point. Then just head back the way you came. At this point, you should have... Now we have a second machine to fix. The copper machine. I just picked up the copper shank arm there. Before you do anything else, come down these stairs and grab the red courage point and 3 small sacks of silver pennies. There's a lever you can pull here that extends a block so you can get to a higher platform. Up here, you will find the medium copper gear and a chest containing 30 silver pennies. If you travel around the stonework here, you can find 2 red courage points and a green courage point. Be sure to unlock the camera to make this jump a little bit easier. Then, on an island to the left, you can find the copper shank head and a chest containing 15 silver pennies. Then, there's also a green courage point and a pink courage point down here. At the far end of the path here, we have the large copper gear. Then on top of this ledge is the small copper gear, the final copper piece.
Another one of these odd contraptions. And it's missing pieces too.
There's also a chest here containing 10 silver pennies. Before you fix the machine, back up and throw a rock at the stone square. This opens up a secret area that contains 5 courage points and a chest. The chest contains 30 silver pennies and a health potion. Then, head back and fix the copper machine. At this point, you should have... Alright, we have one final machine to fix. The metallic machine. First, head down by the water and grab the medium metallic gear and the green courage point, and then head back up, jump across to the next platform, and hit the stone button with a rock. On your way back, jump onto the gray stone block, then jump to the upper ledge and grab the green courage point and the chest containing an antidote potion. If you're having trouble getting to these items, you can move the stone block over so you can gain access to the upper ledge more easily. Then, go find the chest you gained access to by hitting the stone button with a rock. On the way there, grab the metallic shank arm, the red courage point, and the chest containing 5 silver pennies. The chest you gained access to contains a training scroll. Next, head back to the place where you threw the rock at the button to gain access to the chest you just opened. This time, head across and open the chest, which contains 10 silver pennies. On the ledge up above, you will find the small metallic gear and a red courage point. Then, jump across, grab the red courage point, and pull the lever. This opens up a compartment that contains the metallic shank head and a chest with 15 silver pennies in it. Then, you can pull this lever to raise a platform and make a certain jump easier. Before you leave the area, head part of the way around the perimeter of the stonework to grab a red courage point. Then, jump the gap and then jump up a couple of times to get on top of the stonework. At the very top, you will find a chest containing 125 silver pennies. Then, there's a white courage point on top of one of the pillars here. If you're having trouble making these downward jumps, don't forget to unlock the camera. Then, long jump back across and grab the large metallic gear. Next, jump the gap and head down the stairs to the chest. This chest contains a health potion. Finally, you can head up and to the left to fix the metallic machine. Then, just head on through the tunnel. At this point, you should have... Down here, there are more of the frog people. The frog people only take one hit to kill, regardless of the weapon you use, so you should use the walking stick, since it has a longer range than Sting, and also because it has an area of effect jump attack, so long as you picked up the training scroll from earlier. From here, pick up the very obvious troll key, put it in the very obvious keyhole, and go through the very obvious door. In this room, there are some miscellaneous courage points, 2 small sacks of silver pennies at the near end, 1 chest in the middle, and 3 small sacks of silver pennies at the far end. The chest contains 125 silver pennies. And you can see I just got poisoned because of failure of the lockpick puzzle. You can either wait for poison to wear off, or you can open up your inventory and select an antidote potion in order to cure yourself. Once you've collected everything in this area, jump onto the rotten vine at the far end of the cave, slide all the way down into the hole, and then jump off. At this point, you should have... Then, just head out through the cave and follow the mountain path. Slide down these vines to find the final chest of this chapter. This chest contains 25 silver pennies. Then, just head back up and climb the green vine this time instead. Now here, I fell by accident, but I didn't feel like re-recording the entire chapter just to remove that.
Bilbo! Up here!
Oh, Gandalf! You'll never believe what happened. There were giants and wolves and you know...
Plenty of time for stories when it's warm and dry.
Don't miss the red courage point in the grass back here. There are also mushrooms if you need them. At this point, you should have... Then, just head into the cave to meet Gandalf.
There you are, Bilbo.
Clash, crash! Crush, smash, take them to the Great Goblin!
As soon as you gain control, move away from Gandalf and toward the wall. You don't want to get yourself surrounded. Then, jump attack any goblin miners that attack you and slash them until they die. After that, leave Gandalf to kill the rest of them and instead focus on picking up the red courage points the goblin miners drop.
This should stop those goblins. There is more about you than meets the eye, Mr. Baggins. The dwarves made camp just around the bend. Come along, Mr. Baggins.
Before you leave the area, do a quick check to make sure you've picked up all the red courage points that the goblin miners dropped. Then, head out of the rightmost opening, pick up the pink courage points, and make sure to talk to the first dwarf you see. This is Beaufort, and now you can give him the firewood. If you've been following along with this walkthrough from the beginning, then you should get a health upgrade after you've picked up a lot of the red courage points from the goblin miner battle.
Well, here's your confusticated firewood.
Good lad.
Then, to end the chapter, you can either talk to Gandalf or enter the cave behind him.
You should try to keep yourself out of trouble, Baggins.
While our burglar was lost, Keely and I found a nice dry cave. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Sometimes trolls make their homes in these mountains. Sure hope you didn't run into any out there.
Oh, hey.
The sun sleeps, and so should we. Time to make camp, Mr. Baggins.
At the vendor, go ahead and buy the second medicine chest upgrade.
They slept soundly in a dry cave. Then, Bilbo heard a noise. In the darkness and confusion, no one saw Bilbo crack his head on a rock and fall into shadow. When he awoke, Bilbo was alone.